What's up, Cruk? Quick demo video for you for your mini mall. This was originally made by Nate Puente, and he made this from a DM1 Corbanth mall kit, right? So that's what this was made from. It came out very nice, but there were a lot of modifications that I had to do in order to get this install worthy or install ready. It was already install worthy, but I had to get it install ready. It does install the Proffie. It's got two buttons. So this button right here is your activation, and then the one right underneath it is your auxiliary. These two buttons are just for show, all right? But you do have double-sided, it's a double-sided saber, so this will take two blades. I don't have 7/8" blades to put in here right now to show you that they work, but these NeoPixels or these NeoPixel connectors were tested outside of the saber, and I can show you that at least the lights do light up on both sides. How to get to your chassis, we'll take the chassis out first and then we'll talk a little bit about the saber. But you want to come to the opposite side of your switches, right? So your switches are over here. So you don't want to unscrew this, this emitter right here, all right? If your switches are over here, you're going to unscrew this emitter over here, all right? So we'll unscrew this and I'll show you why here in a second. But when we take this out, you'll see your piece of your chassis sticking out here. You can grab it and pull it out. It is a very snug fit because there were a lot of stuff on the inside of this saber, like some glue, some drill marks just from the way it was manufactured. I went through and I filed everything down. I cleaned it out with a steel Brillo as best as I could. But there are some variations inside on the ID of this handle, and it makes the chassis pretty tight in some areas, right? Not as bad when there's not a battery in it, but when you see after you put a battery in it, you'll really notice. So, of course, this is a removable chassis. You've got this piece in there that never comes out. It's a Smuggler's Outpost 14-pin switch pixel PCB set, and it comes to about right here. So it has that 14 pins in it. It has your two tactile switches, and then it also has your other side for your CC Sabers lit connector. Okay. What I had to do is I had to come through and take these two bolts off right here, file them down, and then screw them back in. Underneath this bolt over here, though, right next to your tactile switches, if you were to unscrew that, you'd find a grub screw under there, and that is what holds that particular chassis piece in place, so that doesn't move. Okay, but I put that there to hide it. I didn't want to drill an additional hole into this if I didn't have to, because I did have to come over here and put 3 holes right here for sound venting. There were no holes in here for sound venting when you drop this down and just make a mini mall out of it. So there are 3 holes. I tried to leave them inside of these ribs. All right, and it sounds pretty good. What else did I do? I gave you 2 accents. So one accent is inside of that chassis piece. It's going to mimic your blade, and that's in this lens right here. To cover these lenses, or to have lens glass, really, I took 2 LEDs and I chopped the legs off of them, and then I took the tops of those LEDs and I just glued them inside of these lens holders. So you got one here and you've got one here, right? So this one over here will always mimic your blade. The other one is located on your chassis. See, you've got that NeoPixel accent right there, your Proffie board here. This is an extremely tight press fit down into the shelf right here. So you can pop it up if you need to, but just know it's a super tight press fit, and that's how I wanted it to be. I didn't want to glue it. I did put Darth Maul's face right here. Probably won't show up good on camera, but you've seen the pictures, right? And then if you flip it over right here, you've got a removable battery setup. Try to hide all the wires, and then a 24mm Smuggler's Outpost speaker. And so on one side, you've got your NeoPixel connector, and then on the other side is that PCB that will hit that 14-pin PCB. Now, normally with these types of setups, you can put the chassis in any way you want, but not on this one. I had to have a way to clock that NeoPixel accent and make sure that it stayed right underneath the lens right here, and it didn't move. So if you look at this piece of the chassis, you can see a little notch right here, and then if you like 180 degrees, there's another notch right there. That means you have to put this thing in perfect. It's going to be hard to see on camera. You can kind of see it if I can get the saber right. on the top and bottom of that chassis piece, you can almost see those nubs. So there's two nubs that are poking out, and they basically line up with these indentations, and it locks the chassis in place so it can't turn on you. Okay. What else did I need to do to this saber? Filed down these two buttons, the faux buttons, filed them down, I dremeled them in, and then I press fit them in. So they're not glued or anything, but they're a nice firm press fit. They're not going anywhere. And then, of course, these are your tactiles. I did use the PCB set that comes with this saber. I just went about it just a little bit differently. Okay, but everything's working there now. We'll go ahead and we'll throw a battery in this guy. I did give you twist on and twist off that you were asking for. But one hit of the activation, it ignites both blades. So both blades are going to react simultaneously, and they're going to detract simultaneously. All right, so we'll throw a battery in, and then like I said, it is an extremely tight fit with the battery in. You can see I kind of got this one pulsing when the saber's off, but it is on a timer. Now when you go to put this in, basically going to want to, you can see how your accent LED right here is in line with this lens. You can kind of see that right there. And then your board is going to be exactly lined up with these switches. You can see how your NeoPixel timed out, right? So you have to, let me press in a little bit more and I'll show you what I'm talking about. This board has to be perfectly straight and aligned with these switches. That's the only way you're going to get those two things on the two different chassis to line up and interlock with each other, right? So make sure you're pushing that straight in. Let me push it in and then we'll talk about it. Just like that. If you do it once or twice, you'll get the hang of it. But if you were able to push this all the way in, and you can look in there and see that the chassis lip is past the threads, then that means you got it in right? So I can come over here and I can hit activation. And everything is working, right? We'll go ahead and turn it off for now. So once you've got everything in there, I'm going to go ahead and turn this light off. We can take the other emitter piece and we can screw it all the way on. Screw it down tight. It's good to go. Now you can see I've got that one NeoPixel accent kind of blinking over here. I twisted it on. Both sides turned on at the same time. For just 3 holes, this saber sounds really good. Auxiliary. You want blade lock up, we could hold down aux and hit the saber. You can twist it off. Just like that, or we could twist it on again. You can see both of them lighting up on my hands, right? One more time. Good flash on flash. Just like that. The rest of the fonts are the stock font package, and I got the one font on here that you sent me, right? But there's no swing on, it's twist on. And then twist off. Just like that. Or if you didn't want to do that, you could hit the button. Also, to play your soundtrack, it's a long press on the button and then let go of it. Wrong button. Give that a second and see if you can hear it. It starts off kind of low. I'm not sure if that's picking up. And then to turn it off, it's a long press again and let go. Now you can use this to turn it on. And that gives you your Freon, right? You can also use this to turn it off. Just tap it just like that. We'll go ahead and we will take this chassis back out. Like I said, it is super tight. Oops. When you go to take this out, you will just have to grab on this and pull as hard as you can. Just be patient with it. It will work its way out. Just like that. And then we'll come over here from the positive side, which is by your speaker, and you can pop the battery out just like that. So yeah, that is your mini Maul. Let me know if you got any questions. And if not, I'm actually going to pack this up with your other 3 sabers and then work out shipping with you. Okay? Thanks.